Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, how did you manage to lose James again? Like, how is that possible? There must have been like 6 adults there. And for some odd reason, James is able to sit there and escape once again. And moreover, I'm surprised that Maxie wasn't pissed off at Spinelli, because Spinelli was the last person to sit there and talk to James before what he just decided to just walk away from what was he, like 8 or 9 or something, and then think of, maybe I should make sure that somebody's watching him. Now James, of course, is mad because he can't ride with Cody anymore, and Mac is not there looking at Felicia and Max, and he's like, what did I do wrong? Stupid isn't a good look on Mac. I'm just want to point that out there. Now, Maxie was like, you overstepped. In all reality, I'm surprised he actually stopped James' riding lessons, because that wasn't his call to make, and yet you just accepted it. Now Felicia Smith is saying you need to make this right. Mac is on, he's still on the defensive about Cody, and he's a liar and this, that, and the third. Um, and eventually everyone gets together and realizes that James is going. Now James is hiding behind trees. He's doing all this, that, and the third. And honestly, tell you the truth, he could have just strode off, and they wouldn't have even known the difference. Now, after Drew and Nina wake up after they had their loving in the morning or whatever, and she leaves and she goes to talk to Maxie, and Maxie realizes that, yep, she wound up sleeping with Drew again. She's like, so you still going with this crazy ass plan? And Nina's like, no. The plan is working. He's keeping all his attention on me and not on my daughter. And I'm just like, what? I mean, I get it on some level, as stupid as it, and let's be very clear, this is actually pretty stupid. Jury wants to be with Drew anyway, even if it's just on a, sexual level. And if it keeps, for some odd reason, away from Willow, then I guess it's a winner in her category, in her column or whatever. But it's just so stupid, though, that she has to sit there and be like, oh, you gotta sit there and look at me, you gotta be with me. It's like, what? I mean, in all reality, that's probably the stupidest thing that I've seen on GA so far. And I've been watching this show since high school, and that's saying something. Now, Willow is not there talking to Sasha, and Sasha needs directions from Drew about catering orders or whatever. And eventually Willow tells Michael, because Michael walks in and she's all like, listen, I'm not going to sit there and be at the institution anymore. Drew comes in and she's just like, I want to be a nurse again. I want to sit there and do it for X and Y reasons. Which her reasons are, here's the thing. Her reasons would be believable if it wasn't her that's there talking about it. But at some point she walks off. Drew goes after her. And it's so awkward that there's a point where Willow falls on the ground and she won't even let Drew help her up. Now she says, listen, I need to sit there and get some distance from you because I'm thinking about you way too much, and I love Michael, and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third, and then she just walks off. And I'm like, you do realize that I don't know how this is going to work with his campaign. Like, is he just not going to be there? Because at some point, I guess, see, yesterday I was sitting there saying that you talk about today with distance and everything, but you still live with each other in a sense. I mean, yeah, you live at the boathouse and he lives at the mansion, but I don't think it's that much of a far stay, especially since they, all eventually meet up in the kitchen and stuff. So it's like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna just move out? There's no point since Drew is gonna probably be in Washington, so I guess it's fine. Um, the only thing that is important about this conversation with Willow and Sasha is that, I mean, not Willow and Sasha, and Michael and Sasha, is that Michael talks about, you know, um, time is precious and you should sit there and do everything while you can because of the whole Willow and her health scare. So finally, which I don't even understand, she goes up to Cody and she's like, listen, I'm tired of playing it safe and I want to be with you and this, that, and the third. But I'm like, y'all were already hanging out and making out and stuff like that. So what's the difference between what you just said now to what y'all were doing back then? Like, I to tell you the truth, if it wasn't for Gio last time, they would have wound up sleeping together. So I don't really, I guess it's like the official, green light with Sasha as far as moving on. That's the only thing I could sit there and surmise. Um, Now Natalia comes to Sunny and tells him that she's going back to Puerto Rico. She was only there because of Blaze, and the whole them kind of leaving off on bad terms. But Sunny's like, what, listen, I want you to stay. So he calls up Brooklyn, and Lois decides to come there too. Especially, oh, you're doing business, whatever. I'm not gonna have you do business by yourself. So they all get down there, and Sunny's like, I wanna invest in deception on the one condition. I want Natalia to sit there and be like head of finances and stuff. So that's pretty much the condition. Lois interrupts a couple of times, and Brooklyn's like, "Can I chill out? Let him sit there and talk." So she's like, "All right, listen, let me talk to sit there and Tracy, and we'll get it all squared away, and we'll let you know." Sonny tells Lois that he was off his meds for a while, and that's why he's been off. So like, if this is what the arc retention was about, I hope moving forward we can be good. And Lois was like, "Yeah, of course, or whatever." It wasn't even about that. It's the simple fact that the money. She's like, "Where's that money coming from?" And just in general, and I'm glad that she did bring this up today. She's like, just in general, the fact that your name is attached to it, it ain't good. Now, if I was a person to sit there and nitpick, right? She doesn't want Sunny being in Brooklyn's business life. But if that's the case, then why just not cut them out altogether? I mean, business aside, the fact that you know Sunny and Sunny knows her and you just means that you're a target, for his business rivals and stuff like that. What happens if another mobster wants to sit there and send Sunny a message by attacking his family and attacking Brooklyn? So you sit there and talk about, oh, we've been friends for years, and this, that, and the third, and you could be invited to my party. The wedding? The wedding where it's like Sunny was a target, and they were shooting at him left and right, but she begged him to go to that wedding, even though Sunny was like, I don't know if this is your time right now. She begged him pretty much to go there. But now you're sitting there talking about, oh, well, you can't do business with my daughter. Well, why not stop there then? That's if I was a person that's nitpicking. Um, Now, of course, Brooklyn and Natalia goes to talk to Tracy about, level of infusion towards deception and everything like that. Now, she tries to sit there and kind of soften the blow. It's like, yeah, it's a small bank or whatever that's going to sit there and give us money, and, we're going to be able to do some really great things for the company. And when Tracy finds out that it's the Bank of Sunny, she's pretty much like, hell to the no. Now, I'm not really understanding, in a sense, what they're doing with Tracy. So yesterday, in my opinion, she had this really pointless scene with Violet. Okay, and I say pointless because we already seen the softer human side of Tracy. We already seen that. And the fact that they were that they're using actual real tea sets from Lila instead of using toys, which already a joke enough. But okay, we go through this fluff scene that really didn't do much. Okay, fine. And now we're doing it again with Cody. I don't know what General Hospital is doing with these padding scenes. And I know some people can sit there like, oh, it was nice, it was sweet, and everything like that. And that's good and that's great. But it didn't really do anything moving forward, right? Okay, so she talked about Finn, and she talked about her time in the hospital and the brain flesh eating disease that she had, which sounds like a goddamn nightmare. And it's all added up to nothing. Nothing. If you can sit there and tell me the meaning of that scene, please do. It's kind of like the meaning of yesterday's scene. I know that she's human. Maybe this is for new people that they want to sit there and maybe get a glimpse of her humanity. But we haven't seen scheming Tracy, lying Tracy, mean Tracy in a hot minute. And they desperately need to bring her back. Also, Michael does call Nina and tells her about Willow, that she's not going to be doing the PSA Institute or whatever, and she's going back to nursing. And of course, Nina already knows why. Um, I don't. I mean, he didn't. Here's the thing: he didn't even get elected yet, right? And again, she going back to this whole distance thing. I'm like, well, why don't you just move out? There's no guarantee that he's actually going to win. And yeah, he's gone. You know, he's doing his whole campaigning thing, but he's still living in a Quartermain's house. So you think just because you stopped the PSA thing and working closer with Drew, which Drew even sitting there saying like, "Hey, listen, if it really comes down to it, I don't have to be near you. You can sit there and just do your own thing or whatever. I think that your work that you're doing is important. Then why don't you just move out at that point?" Like, seriously, I know probably because it's set and budget and blah, 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 blah. But, like, this whole distance thing, really? I don't know. And at some point, Maxie figures that most likely James went back to Cody. And so she goes there, she sees Cody and Sasha making out or whatever, and she's like, where's James at? When you saw the previews, they have no idea where James is at, but it does look like Cody dives into the water or lake or whatever. My guess is that, James, I don't know, is like drowning or something. It was like, who knows? Um, but again, it was just like, it was so irresponsible to just leave this kid alone in a park, especially knowing. And by the way, Mac, after a while, was like, listen, if he wants to sit there and take riding lessons with Cody, that's fine, just to keep the peace or whatever. Because in reality, hey, listen, you may have your issues with Cody, and that's fine, but it shouldn't interfere with James and James' relationship with Cody. Um, anyway, that's pretty much all I'm going to sit there and say for this review. There is way more I want to sit there and talk about in this episode that I'm not going to do here. I'm going to sit there and do my live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, because I did it right here, it'll be a lot longer of a video. And I've been trying to keep these videos under 10 minutes, and it just not working. Anyway, I'll be sitting there talking about all the other shows too, Born and Beautiful, Young and Restless, and Days of Our Lives. And with that being said, hopefully I will see you tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.